If you ask a horror fan to name the ultimate monster, you usually get the same answers: a vampire in a castle, a howling werewolf, or perhaps a Wendigo. These figures have become the standard definitions of what it means to be afraid. Yet search any major library or streaming service, and you'll find that these Western and East Asian tropes dominate nearly all of our media. Thousands of other oral traditions, containing monsters every bit as complex, are simply absent from the global catalog because they haven't been translated. One of the most significant gaps in this record is found in Northeast India. It is an isolated region where communities continue to treat their local legends with a gravity that outsiders rarely experience. The most prominent figure in these accounts is U Thlen. It is an ancient, insatiable demon serpent that survives on a single resource: human blood. For generations, the details of this entity remained within the Khasi language, spoken by a small population in a specific mountain range. Today, through new translations and English subtitles, these accounts are becoming accessible to a wider audience for the first time. What these translations show is that horror doesn't need a high-budget studio. It exists in the specific, deeply localized fears that dictate how people interact with their close neighbors and their everyday environment. To understand the serpent, look at its home, the Khasi Hills, a landscape of high-altitude ridges and deep valleys, submerged in thick, low-moving clouds. The Khasi people have lived here for centuries, maintaining a culture where oral history preserves the warnings of U Thlen across dozens of generations. In its natural state, U Thlen is a massive, dark serpent, a shifting weight moving through the mountain mists, barely visible to the naked eye. But its physical size is not its most dangerous trait. The serpent can shrink its form at will, allowing it to slip through gaps in a floorboard or hide quietly at the bottom of a household storage basket. This makes the creature a domestic threat. It isn't a beast you encounter in the wild. It is a predator that can live inside your home, waiting in the shadows of an attic. The threat becomes concrete when examining how the serpent survives. It cannot feed itself. It requires human blood, provided by a human handler. These handlers are known as the Nongshono. They are individuals who have entered into a contract with the serpent, acting as its providers and protectors within human society. The feeding is not a simple attack. The Nongshono use specific tools, often ritualized shears or small containers, to collect hair or small amounts of blood from victims to bring back to the creature. The motivation is simple: wealth. In exchange for offerings, U Thlen generates supernatural prosperity for the household. But this wealth has a strict quota. If the keeper fails to provide blood, the serpent consumes the keeper's own family to satisfy its hunger. This dynamic turns the entire community into a place of suspicion. The true dread comes from the idea that a neighbor's sudden success might be fueled by a serpent hidden in their rafters. This legend ties the idea of extreme, sudden wealth to a physical cost. It suggests for one family to prosper unnaturally, the rest of the community must literally bleed. It captures a universal human anxiety, the fear that those closest to us might be willing to betray our safety for their own gain. By documenting and translating these cultural stories, we see that the world of horror is far more diverse than the handful of monsters we see in mainstream cinema. Use the English subtitles on this video to follow the specifics of the legend, and explore the other entries in the Khasi Tales series to see how these stories have evolved. When we bridge the gap between languages, we find that some of the most effective ways to describe fear have been thriving in these mountains for a very long time.